Hi, today I want to talk about the effects on judgments and decisions. So I will be continuing with this book about social psychology, but this has like different parts and different aspects of psychology so far. So I'm going to continue the line of the previous videos I've made. And let's go ahead. So when we talk about explicit judgments and decisions, these are subjects of deliberation and control. So individuals who aspire to be unprejudiced or should be theoretically have the option to disregard everything that we say like against others and the stereotypes or everything that we think other people are and think. So, reaching conclusions about others. Unfortunately, however, people are often completely unaware of a range of factors that can influence their judgments in different ways. So, we have like a bunch of biases, and it is something that influences us like every day, but it could happen like consciously and unconsciously. So something I like to sometimes remind myself is that I could be biased. I tell to myself like, or if I'm talking to someone else that about a specific topic or a specific person, I say like my opinion, and then I finish saying like, yeah, but I can be biased because of this and this and that. So it's very important that if you can put it on a conscious setup for you to do it, because it isn't like something that most of the times we're aware of, because we have like these strong beliefs and cannot be removed like easier. So I always recommend yourself like, yes, even those beliefs, I don't want you to break them. I just want you to start like questioning like, why do I have them? What's the cause of the root of them? Would that be something essential in my life in the future? Would that be like something I could accommodate to, that could accommodate my life as well? So it's not about breaking beliefs, it's about knowing that we have them, but also trying to bring all of them to our consciousness. So based on everything we spoke previously, we have that stereotypes can be activated automatically. It would not be surprising to discover that they influence the judgments, even of about decision makers in general. When we talk about decision makers, we talk about like a variety of people. So they can be activated like pretty easy. That's the bad thing, right? Stereotypes can color initial reactions and potential bias, and it could affect the processing of everything that we do and the evidence. So when we do like some kind of research, that is important for the group that is involved to know if they have like any biases, if they are qualified to do the study. So it is mostly still like in the academic field. Sometimes we want to do an investigation about something, but when we do like a research about a certain topic, it's like, yeah, am I qualified to do that or not? Those are like constant questions, but I think if you just like it, it's also like a valid reason. So just go for it. But if you are like truly biased about something, just consider once or twice if you want to do a research about that. Some people also do it in order to know why they are biases, why they think like that. So it's also like an auto discovery journey, which is good as well. It's not about challenging ourselves and our thoughts. It's also trying to look for answers, try to answer to any doubts about them, because everything starts with a doubt. Every research starts with a doubt. Every self-reflection start with a question. So it's also important to keep pursuing those kind of questions and doubts in society. So go for it. So something about the stereotypes is that those are based on an initial judgment. So actually, these implications of the stereotypical prejudgment can be affecting the decision that is ultimately reached. So this happens like in mostly in the academic field, but it could be applied to any other cases scenario actually. So when we argue with someone, when we want to make a point, when we want to analyze a group of people, we want to analyze a situation, this could happen every time. So when stereotypes were activated after the relevant case evidence had been processed, no stereotypic biases were evident in the decisions that were rendered. Show that even when given the same behavioral information about targets, people judged them more negatively when they were known to be a member of any type of group. So this is like a study by Goronsky, Benz, and Yakshi. Sorry if I pronounce it pretty bad. 2003. So I think that when we analyze the biases beforehand, we can know what could come up in the future on the research or on the study. So not at the end, because at the end, of course, it's going to be too late. And then the study cannot be valid or as valid as people want. But beforehand, that's why it is important. You need to know, even if you're just doing a study yourself, even if you are just analyzing something, to know what could be your potential biases towards that study, topic, theme, whatever. And what happens about the stand of bias deliberation? It can be moderated like in several factors, according to the author. When people are under time pressure or are otherwise lacking in the cognitive resources needing to systematically evaluate information, or in order to control any kind of stereotypes, prejudice, reactions, non-dimensional biases, those are more likely to be evident. So it is important when we want to moderate something and we want to analyze something, we of course are affected by different factors of the environment and by the situation itself sometimes. So it's just not that. Sometimes we aren't even stereotypical because we want. It's because even our environment encourages that behavior, or there's something like pretty strong that it's already like set up, like cultural norms, for example. It could be the people you are working with that you could be easily influenced by their beliefs, and other type of factors that you say like, hey, I want to be as unbiased as possible, but this is really hidden into the equation. So that's another valid reason. But what about the effects of the interpersonal behavior? In the realm of intergroup relations, interpersonal interactions are where the rubber hits the road. When members of different social groups interact with each other, how will their prejudice and stereotypes influence their behavior? We will explore the dynamics of intergroup interactions in some detail, but first we highlight some of more insidious forms of that behavioral influences can take. One quite interesting and initially surprising behavioral effect of stereotypes lies in the phenomenon of automatic behavior. When stereotypes of a particular group become activated, they tend to elicit a corresponding behavioral response. For example, thinking about the elderly tends to elicit slower walking speeds and greater forgetfulness. The mechanisms producing such effects and their functional basis have been such discussed and debated. Some people have told the activation of relevant concepts directly triggers corresponding responses because the representations involved in perceiving and understanding a behavioral relevant concept are also involved in executing related behavior. Others have argued that automatic behavior reflects the application of accessible concepts to the momentarily active representation of the self. Still, others have proposed that automatic behavior of this sort reflects a motivated preparation to interact with members of the stereotyped group. So, what are your thoughts about it?